What is up, awesome people of the internet? Got some bummer of news to share with you all. South Carolina's Ashlyn Watkins got carried off the court on Sunday due to her getting injured on a play where she was going up for a basket, and she ended up having some sort of non-contact injury. She got helped off the court, and there was a lot of speculation in terms of like what exactly was the issue. Guys, as you all know, whenever something happens and it's like a non-contact thing, you know it's something usually bad. And unfortunately, it was announced today confirming that it was indeed a pretty bad injury. As South Carolina said that Ashlyn Watkins has torn her ACL. This is something they said earlier today. And, we saw the injury happen on Sunday when she got helped off the court, where she really couldn't put any weight on that left side. And I was like, man, okay, this is going to be bad. Whenever they announced whatever this is, it's going to be pretty bad. And it turns out it was. As today they announced that it was a ACL tear and that Ashton will, as a result of that, miss the rest of this season. And she's going to be having her surgery in the coming week. So, yeah, that's the update. Guys, it's not great. It's not great for her because, one, you got injured, and it's a pretty bad injury, an injury that you're going to have surgery. Regardless of how routine the surgery is, it's always kind of scary, in my opinion. It's probably a lot of stuff going on, right? And also taking in the fact that like Ashton has gone through a lot this year, right? Before the season started, she was suspended from the team because of off the court stuff. I made videos about it, so go back and watch that. I'm not going to rehash it in this video. But she came back to the team with lots of fanfare. Lots of people were excited to have her back, and she played her role well. So far this season, she's been averaging 7.2 points a game, 6.4 rebounds a game, which is actually a team high. And she's been doing that off of the bench. She's primarily been on the bench for South Carolina. She comes off the bench, gives some much needed energy, and just kind of helps to keep the momentum that the starters have set for South Carolina. And sometimes even when the starters have bad starts, she is one of the players who help to jumpstart South Carolina in games when she comes off the bench. And not having her play on this team for the remainder of this year is like a huge, huge, huge loss for this team, because not only does she give you points, not only does she give you rebounds, she also is a very good player when it comes to block shots, when it comes to altering shots, when smaller players kind of come into the paint. She is one of those players that will, is a bit intimidated, right? Bit intimidated when you're trying to get in the paint and then you see Ashlyn Watkins. Even though she's 6'3", her vertical leap, fire. Straight up fire. She also can dunk, and she's dunked several times for South Carolina before. But this is a tough loss for Don Staley and the crew, because you were able to rely on Ashlyn Watkins. And now you're going to have other players step up, right? So, yeah, Ashlyn Watkins is not the starter. Sanaya Fagan is. You have Sanaya Fagan and Chloe Kitts, who are the starters for the center position and in the power forward position. And now you have to figure out who's going to be that additional person who's going to get a lot of minutes off the bench. Right now, Joyce Edwards gets a lot of minutes. So it was Joyce Edwards and it was Ashlyn Watkins get a lot of minutes. Now that Ashlyn Watkins is out, yeah, sure, Joyce Edwards is going to get the same minutes that she normally gets, but now you're going to have to bring somebody else in. Now it's either going to be an Adele Tack or a Miriam Dowda, right? You got to figure out which one of these players is going to be able to secure that sort of next man up off the bench for post players, right? I'm probably leaning to Adele Tack, but Miriam Dowda does have a lot more experience because she is the transfer coming into South Carolina, whereas Adele Tack is an actual freshman, though she was with the team for last year. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what Don Staley ends up doing because they haven't got that much playing time. Both Miriam and Adele have not got that much playing time, and so it's a question of, okay, well, who's ready? And I'm pretty sure Don Staley has either had or will be having conversations with both of these ladies saying, hey, you know what's in front of us. You know that we have a slot that needs to get filled. And you know that whoever fills this slot is likely going to get closer to like 15 to 20 minutes a game. Adele, do you want it? If so, you better step up and practice. Miriam, do you want it? If so, you better step up and practice. Like I think that's the conversation. that Don Staley's having with these two ladies, because it's one of theirs for the taking. Maybe initially she splits the time. Initially, possibly, she'll split the time where each player is getting like 10 and 10. But she's going to have to come to a decision in the next, I would say, week or so. Don Staley is, in terms of who is going to take that spot. Again, I think it's going to be Miriam. But, Adele Tack is taller. And I think she has way more upside than Dowda. But it's a question of, is she ready? I think that's the big question. Is Adele ready for primetime minutes when it comes to college basketball? And I don't think she is. Miriam, I think she is. I think Miriam can slide in there and do a pretty decent job. Is she going to be like Ashlyn Watkins? No. I just don't see it. No, she's not going to be as good as Ashlyn Watkins was, but I think she could do a decent enough job for the time being. And it's going to require other people to step up as well. Yes, Sanaya Fagan is the starter, right? But it's likely going to be that Don State is going to say, hey, Sanaya, I need you to score a little bit more. Okay? I need you to do a little bit more when it comes to rebounding. If you're gonna keep the starting spot, right? Likely, I don't think she's gonna change Sanaya in the starting lineup. So she's gonna keep the spot, but it's like, hey, we need you to have a little bit more production for Sanaya, especially on the rebounding front. Like it's actually kind of ridiculous how she's only averaging 3.7 rebounds a game. Like get your rebounding up. Like it's crazy that the best rebounder on the team was actually a bench player, which was Ashlyn Watkins, right? So yeah, lots of conversations that I'm pretty sure Don Staley is having with her team about what players need to do in terms of having certain players step up and whatnot. Actually, Chloe Kitts actually leads the team in rebounding. Ashlyn is second on the team when it comes to rebounding. So yeah, lots of people are gonna have to step up. I think Chloe has already stepped up this year. I think she's going to continue to step up in her play. And so, yeah, we're gonna see how this continues to go. I do think that this is very concerning in terms of South Carolina's ability to get back to the national championship game and win. Like, I think yes. Has South Carolina played without Ashlyn Watkins in the past? Yes, they have. And that's definitely a thing. However, when you get further into SEC play, when you get into tournament play, you're going to need players that are just proven and that will show up and show out. And yeah, Chloe Kitts is proven, right? Raven Johnson proved herself last year, right? Bree Hall, proven. Malaysia Fulwiley, proven. Tina Powell, proven. Tessa Johnson, I've been loving what Tessa Johnson is doing this year. Proven. It's a question about everybody else. And a player that I have not talked about that I'm going to talk about now is Sakima Walker. Like, that's another question mark, right? She's in her last year in college. She decided to return back to South Carolina this year. And it's a question mark of, okay, well, is Sakima Walker given the nod for more minutes? There's lots of questions, I would say. And we just got to see what Don Staley ends up doing. But yeah, anyway, that's the news, guys. Ashlyn Watkins is out for the remainder of this season, and it's unfortunate. So absolutely continue to pray for Ashlyn Watkins that mentally, she's able to get through it. Physically, she's able to get through it, because tearing your ACL and having to go through surgeries and have to do the rehab, and it's a long process, and it probably takes a lot out of you. I've never had that happen, but I can just imagine that it's probably not very good. And so that's a thing. But the X's and O's perspective of like what South Carolina needs to do, like Don Staley is probably working through that right now. She's probably talking with her assistant coaches, saying, okay, here's the new game plan. Here's a new game plan of what we need to do, and here is what we need to see from these certain players to have them step up and help to fill that gap. Because no one person on this roster, in my opinion, can feel what Ashlyn Watkins did. They can't do it. Because like Ashton Watkins is basically a starter. She is a starter on any other team. You're not going to replace her one for one, but you can try to get to 70%, 80%, 85%, right? Maybe it's by one person. I think it's, but maybe it's a combination of people to help make that happen and to sort of help to get South Carolina back to where they were last year. So, yeah, that's the news. What do y'all think about it? Let me know in the comments, and I will see y'all in the next one. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.